Greggs is to cut more than 800 jobs because of the pandemic.
The bakery chain warns it will not be profitable as a business if sales continue at the rate seen in lockdown.
Many of its shops are in city centres and rely on office workers who are staying at home.
Now, as of last night, more than £37 million had been raised for children in need on what was the 40th anniversary of the fundraiser.
Of course, COVID restrictions meant that there was no live audience and the broadcast on BBC One was a bit shorter than normal.
There was still plenty of fun to be had, though, as David Sillito reports.
Please welcome your hosts, Alex Scott and Chris Ramsey, Mel Gedroych and Stephen Mangan.
It was a stripped-back, socially distanced anniversary for children in need. The live audience was watching on Zoom. In 1980, the total at the end of the night was just over 1 million. 40 years on, Joe Wicks alone got twice that for his 24-hour workout.
3, 2, 1.
A charity single featuring Cher, the Rickshaw Challenge, the familiar children in need ingredients. Of course, this year, people were cycling indoors.
Call me back, Cinderella, nasty girl.
And the live musical performance, no big West End choruses. Instead, Andrew Lloyd Webber on a keyboard, a safe 2 metres from a solo performance by Carrie Hope Fletcher.
When you try your best, but you don't succeed.
But some things were unchanged. The public's generosity. And in a year which has brought new challenges of loneliness, isolation,
We've had success.
and COVID-related hardship, the need for children in need. David Sillito, BBC News.
Of course, so many families going to benefit from the donations there for children in need. As we were showing yesterday, so many families have benefited.
Yeah, the stories of the people who have received money in the past gets you every time, which is why people have been so generous at clearly what is a very challenging time for a lot of people looking at household budgets and all of that stuff.
Now, though, let's take a look at some of the front pages. Many of the papers are leading with the news of Dominic Cummings' departure from Downing Street. The Eye is reporting that the Prime Minister's team is torn apart by feud, it says, and it quotes the Conservative MPs who say that Mr Johnson should now focus on the coronavirus pandemic and Brexit.
According to the Daily Telegraph, Mr Cummings described the Prime Minister as indecisive and accused him of dithering.
The Yorkshire Post has dedicated its front page to the 13 victims of serial killer Peter Sutcliffe, who died yesterday. The son of his first known victim, Wilmer McCann, Son told the paper that the murderers and criminals like the Yorkshire Ripper, so-called Yorkshire Rippers, should not be treated as cult figures.
Yes, and finally, image here, a story we were just reporting a moment ago. After a very different 40th Children in Need last night, the website carries a thank you message to everyone who helped fundraise and donate. You heard the figure just a moment ago, £37 million raised. That's the figure on the night. Money comes in, of course, over a period of time afterwards, but no matter what, it is an extraordinary sum of money, and all goes to those who need it most. Scientists have warned the coronavirus R number, the indicator of how fast the virus is spreading, must drop to below 1 if there's any hope of easing restrictions this Christmas. Comes amid concerns the number of those testing positive for the virus could increase when the current lockdown in England is lifted on December the 2nd. Sage scientists warn that a cautious approach is needed.
If we can bring incidence lower, it allows us a little bit of wiggle room. But where we need to be really careful is actually when we pull the plug, as it were, on the 2nd of December, if we go back to, say, a tier 1 situation or even lower restrictions, then cases may start to climb rapidly again.